I'm Emily Rose, the assigning editor of Rebind.io, and today I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Nick from Aggro Crab Games.
Awesome. So, we both happen to be at a social event together, so forgive the impromptu audio recording, everything like that.
We're actually kind of at a party, and then I've been pulled aside to do this.
I figured this would make a nice change in pace from doing the usual article thing, and just having something on our YouTube channel would be awesome.
Yes.
So
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce people to what you're known for, what you do?
Right. So I started a game studio. It's called Aggro Crab. We make a game called Going Under about exploring the cursed ruins of failed tech startups. Weird concept. So on that team, I'm the art director and I guess the biz dev guy or the producer, whatever. I talk to people sometimes. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So I remember was it a couple socials back that From Aggro Crab demoed the It's Going Under, right?
It's Going Under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope not.
No. Okay, so so let's start there, right? I've said this a lot, but it would be so ironic if we go out of business. It'd be so sad, right?
That's so sad.
Right? We're making a game about companies going out of business. That's the whole concept. And then imagine if we flop and our game doesn't sell anything, indie-pocalypse happens, and it's just we become exactly what we're It kind of pushes me personally to make that not happen. Mm-hmm. Just obviously, I have a lot of reasons why that shouldn't happen, but out of spite is most important. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that's always the worry, right? You don't want to curse it. You don't want to cast that magic spell on it where people are just ugh. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what Going Under is exactly beyond just the premise, right?
Right on. Well, I feel like we banked a lot on the premise, but it's also outside of the premise, it's a lot of different things, right? So once again, the premise is you're exploring the cursed ruins of failed tech startups as an intern at a startup that hasn't gone out of business yet. So what that means is we've set up this universe where when a company goes out of business, everyone who works there turns into monsters and the office turns into a dungeon. And you have to kill the monsters, right? It's a very video gamey premise. But I guess that leads into one of the first things that Going Under is. It's a dungeon crawler. It's very much a capital V video game. You're killing enemies, you're attacking, you're dodging. It's a roguelike at its core. It's also kind of a Souls-like. I don't know.
It's got kind of a
Souls-like,
Zelda-like dungeon, Link to a Past kind of feel to it, but in a really fun way, and also I guess throw some Binding of Isaac in there, but in a completely different direction.
Right,
I mean, it has a very different game feel.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything in that way. I think there's this niche of roguelikes right now, roguelike, action rogue, whatever you want to call it. There's no third-person ones. Name a third-person roguelike.
I feel like there must be, but I can't think
Necropolis.
of
There's one. It's called Necropolis, but we can have more than one in the space. And it's been a few years, and that's kind of what we're pursuing with this, with just mechanically with the game. Mm-hmm. But I think that's just one part of how to describe this project, right? You could also say that it's a linear narrative game, right? We have a story to the game that's really important. And whereas most roguelikes are more about doing the same thing over and over, ours is structured linearly. There's 3 different dungeons in our game that don't connect to each other. And more than 3, but 3 main ones, right? So you're progressing in this story by doing this stuff. And that's that's different than things that have been done before. I think Hades kind of does something similar. Every time you go back to the start, you get a lot of these dialogue snippets. That game's excellent. Supergiant knocked it out of the park. But even then, I think what we're doing is a little different. I think we're doing stuff weird visually. I think we're doing stuff weird sonically. But the trick is whether it's all going to come together or if everything's going to be just a watered down version of one strong concept, right? The trick is to make it all work as like greater than the sum of its parts.
I think it did a pretty good job of that. I mean, like, it's definitely not normally my kind of game that I like to sit down with, but I picked it up and I was like, nah, I'd play this. You know, there's always like that genre breaker where it's just like, you're like, oh, this is okay, I guess, and you try it like a million different other times, even when it's done like hyper competently, and you're just like, this doesn't work for me. And then you hit that one. Like for Metroidvanias, I couldn't really like get into those at all. And then I picked up Control, and I'm just like, oh, okay. This makes sense to me. This works.
Is Control a Metroidvania?
It absolutely is.
What?
Which is funny because it's like everybody has the inverse reaction because everybody else like has like a.
Maybe I haven't gone that far because it's super linear so far. I haven't backtracked.
It does. It does. It like opens up into this like, you know, backtracking dungeon item collection, like all this stuff kind of format. Yeah, no, it's wild, right?
Yeah, and that got you into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, obviously the setup and premise and everything is like superb.
But that's another thing, right? Like, deliver on all fronts. Like, that's how I think you should make a game in 2020.
Yeah, even if your genre is like something outside of my normal purview or whatever, it's still kind of this case of if you have enough like compelling like composition around your core mechanics in a way that makes it like more attractive than it would normally be in a different setting, I think that's really potent, really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think you can see that kind of go in the opposite direction of falling apart with like walking simulators, right? So it's like they're really, really good walking simulators, right? And it's kind of like it's a lot easier to, I think, knock out of the park.
Okay.
But then especially with horror games, there have been like so many really small horror games that it pushes so much that now you just like open up YouTube and you look at a trailer for one of these and you're like, cool art, cool whatever, cool premise, none of that matters because this feels very like samey.
Yeah.
Like I played this game before, right?
Right.
So yeah, but that coming back to Going Under, I mean that's like kind of one of the things that I just first really jumped out to me. It was like, other than like obviously like gorgeous visual style and like the fun cartoony like visuals.
Yeah.
It's just like this lovely like genre breaker for me where it just like it pulls me into something I would normally never consider. So
yeah, and I mean, it's one more point that I want to make is something I've talked about is like, I don't really want to make a game that, I think this is kind of goes to Aggro Crab's philosophy. I don't really want to make a game that's like combine this thing with this thing, and that's like the whole pitch to it, and then we spend all our resources and, you know, thought time like making that the perfect thing. Okay, an example is like Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is like such a better game than anything I'll ever do in my life, which is why I'm okay with like using it as an example here. But the premise is like, you know, roguelike but rhythm. And it's all, and there's this whole philosophy to like making that kind of game is like make that the perfect thing.
Yeah, and those are like two genres.
Execute that perfectly.
I also don't like, but you bring those together and I'm like, okay, you got me.
Oh no, I was sucked into that game forever, right? But it's just like not, I want to be a lot looser personally with the kind of thing we're making.
Yeah, no. Tell us about the bacon table.
The hard-hitting questions. Okay, you guys want... Okay, so first let me, for the uninitiated, and this will be great for the tweet, because I'll get to say, like, find out the history behind the bacon table.
Yeah, we should do, like, a little, like, promo.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the bacon table. So, it all started when I was doing some concept art, some production art for the overworld of the game, which is like the home base of your character. So you're Jackie, you work at this company called Fizzle, which makes sparkling water meal replacements. That's the startup concept. But you're really, you know, it's just this run-of-the-mill, like very bougie startup environment that you're in. They've got a lot of money. They're balling out on fancy furniture. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking at examples of what furniture really feels opulent and unnecessary. And I just really like the vibe of like a live edge wood table. If you've ever seen those, it's what the bacon table is supposed to be. It's just like you literally like cross-section a tree. You don't make it a rectangular table. You
cross-sectioned a hog and you put legs on it and called it a table.
No, it's not a hog. It is a plant. It is a tree. it's a normal thing, okay? But I just like made a 3D model of it for shits and made it super realistic, right? Mm-hmm. Like our game's got this style, as you know, it's very cartoony and minimal or like abstract shapes.
I'm gonna put like a picture of it up so like people can see it.
Okay,
they can look at
you can see it. You can see all the capsules and the spheres and all these round, simple shapes. But then I introduced this bacon table that live edge table. It's not a bacon table yet. This live edge wood table that just breaks all that. We've got like this super bright specular bump mapping on it. It's jagged. It's got a texture. It's not geometric. It's not anything like the rest of the game. It stands out. So I show it to my team and they're like not super having it, right? Like, much love to my team. You guys did not sign on to the bacon table at first, okay? They saw it, and obviously since that was the point of it, they said, this doesn't match the aesthetic. I don't really think it looks that good.
No, it's completely visually jarring.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like a disgusting, like 2004, like shader, like wet shader, like bacon slice.
Yeah, because I don't know PBR. That's not what the game is for. Like, I'm not gonna make it good. I just put it in. But something in me was just that day like, you know what, fuck you guys. I spent all morning working on this, and I was very stubborn in doing that. We should have talked about it. We should have, done our meeting in the morning and said, this is what I think it should be. But no, I just made it. Mm-hmm. That's on me. And I showed them, they didn't like it. So what would a normal, like, art lead do in the situation? Probably
maybe listen to your team.
Probably listen to the team, take feedback well, revise it, do all these things. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bitch on Twitter and get their opinion to supersede everyone on the team's opinion. That was my plan. So I posted the bacon table on Twitter. I made a little GIF where Jackie's crawling under it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, so I'm getting a lot of pushback here from my team. They love it when I use the word pushback. I'm getting a lot of pushback here. What do you guys think of this table? Does it fit? Leave your reply in the comments below. And immediately we get like 80 responses, which is a lot of engagement for a small Twitter account. And it's just like, it's not even like they're all positive comments. Like maybe half the people like the table, think it's fun and cool. Mm-hmm. Half the people are like very scientific about it. They're like, no, that doesn't fit the aesthetic. You shouldn't have it in. And then some people are just like, haha, it looks like a slice of bacon. And I was like, cool.
A legend was born
that day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And since that moment, first of all, the immediate thing that happened was that everyone on the team saw how controversial it was, how it got the people going, and
viral bacon.
And that's why they liked it, right? Mm-hmm. You can't really stand out these days unless you get the people talking. Granted, it's a pretty small sample size.
Use it.
Right. This isn't like gonna make or break our game, but it's just like it's the strategy, right? And it resonated with people, and since then it's stuck, and like people make bacon. We have a good amount of people that are just diehard bacon tables. Like,
have you gotten like bacon fan art?
Yeah, I haven't yet. Well, no, we haven't. We've gotten bacon memes. No fan art yet.
Bacon fan art.
No,
you heard it here first.
First one to make bacon fan art gets a free copy of the game.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. But it's just like really cool to see people care about something so strongly like that. You know, like whatever works. Hey.
If it gets people into the game, that's what's important. So,
I mean, we still haven't revealed whether it's going to be in the game or not. I haven't told anyone like, hey, this is in.
I'm pressuring you in the media and the press now to make Bacon Table happen. As like
it's up to us.
I'm not going to tell you have to, but I am applying the bacon pressure.
I need to keep some.
I'm turning up the heat.
I need some like bargaining chips. I need some leverage. I can't let the community have whatever you guys want all the time. It's too early for that.
Just yell at them a lot on Twitter until you get Bacon Table, #Bacon Table. Don't actually make that hashtag. That's terrible and confusing to the broader world, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. This is really wonderful. It was a real treat.
Yeah, of course.
And you can find them over at their Twitter account.
Follow us at Aggro Crab Games. I'm at Smashy Nick, and that's all you need to know. And wishlist our game on Steam, Going Under.
Yeah,
Steam.com/Going Under. No,
they're not going under.
That's not it.
The game is going under.
Yeah, it's really fun and good, and we're working really hard to make it all happen. And we didn't go to GDC because it got canceled. So we have more time to make the game good. So play it.
If you want more cool field interviews like this, stop by patreon.com/rebind, and then hit us up on Twitter at twitter.com/rebind_io.